Hello, welcome to the 199 Unlisted podcast. My name is Frank. I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. As usual, I'm wearing clothes. I'm wearing some stupid MTV shirt. Uh, there was a CNN news story from 2016 when Obama was using ICE to take away illegal immigrants from sanctuary cities. And I probably can't play it because every time I play something, it gets copyrighted. That's why I only show like little clips and stuff. But CNN goes along. I have the sound on. Like CNN goes along on a ride along as they arrest. Yeah, there's a ride along as they arrest immigrants. I mean illegal immigrants, and it's a very positive story. And they show, like, for example, they arrested this guy. He had a couple of DUIs. He's using a fake ID so like he can have a job and get like be in quote unquote American anyway. And like CNN, and they're like, yeah, the streets are safer because this guy's gone, and they do a few more whatever. But anyway, it's very positive coverage, okay, and it's Obama, and CNN loves Obama, I guess. But when you see the CNN coverage now, obviously it's negative. Interesting, very interesting. So CNN went along on a ride along with Obama, and it was positive, and they were saying what we're saying now, that if the sanctuary cities didn't exist and just handed over the criminals while they were in jail, we wouldn't have these issues. So it's just funny how it just depends who's in charge. You know, it makes it a good story or a bad story. But I was also hearing people say, when I say people, I don't pay attention to who, it's just people. Some people are saying, well, since I've been talking about this, I should probably just leave it. It doesn't matter anyway. Some people were saying that the reason why uh, they want riots, and the reason why the riots are intensifying, is because they want to distract people from the fraud, from the Somali fraud, the billions of our tax dollars that went to fund Somali terrorist groups or whatever. And then I heard people say, well, no, the real reason why we're having so many ICE, I guess, protests, and people attacking ICE officers, because an ICE officer is a federal. I don't know what they're called. Like police officers, FBI, CIA, like all those people are the same thing. They're a officer. So if you assault one, it's a federal offense. So like hitting a cop is the same as hitting an ICE officer, or like a ATF agent, whatever. Like they're all the same. They're all peace officers. But for some reason, when you attack a ICE officer, agent, whatever, you don't get automatically arrested. It's like you get 6 warnings. It makes no sense. But anyway, some are saying that the reason why this is going on is they want to distract people from the Epstein list. It's like everything that's going on, you hear someone go, "Oh, well, it's really a distraction for this. It's really a distraction for that. It's really a distraction for," and then they'll name some foreign conflict, whatever. I don't. I don't know what you could do to distract me from. I don't know the exact number, but the last number I heard was 9 billion of our tax dollars being stolen by Somalis. I don't know what you could say that would distract me from that. Like, I know it happened. Like I just don't forget that. So it makes no sense that you would do something. It makes no sense that you would make people Well, here's another thing. Like most of the protesters are paid protesters, so like I don't know the percentage of people who are really mad. You know, because I would like to think the average American. Because I've seen clips of other people in Minnesota who are very happy that ICE is there taking away the illegals because it's making the community safer. Because it's because they're going after criminals. It's not like they're just taking big boogie Latinas. Like they're taking rapists and murderers away. So, and I think I don't know how you wouldn't know that. So it does make sense that most of them are paid. So I don't understand what the distraction is. And then the Epstein list, like no one cares about the Epstein list. The Epstein list, no one cares about that. If the Epstein list was important, and I'm sure I've said this before, when they had the press conference and in front of the Congress building, it was a couple months ago, and they had like it was like four or five Epstein victims at the podium, and then behind them was like a bunch of a congressman and senators. And I remember one of the victims was on the mic, and she says something. I'm paraphrasing. We want accountability. We want the Epstein list published. Now, what she could have done is said uh, she could have named all the people that did stuff to her, but she didn't. So I don't even think it's important to the victims because none of there's like I mean I saw like five victims right there and none of them gave up one name. So is the Epstein list even real? Yeah, and anyway, so if they don't care enough when they're in front of the world or on whatever a several live news streams and they don't say a name of anyone that did something to them, I don't care about it. Great, I didn't care about it before, but they obviously don't care about it because they would have named the names. So I don't need to be distracted from the Epstein list. I don't care. You can't distract me from the Somali tax fraud, but there's nothing I can do about it. Like I don't think we should pay taxes though. I think next tax season you should reduce the taxes by $9 billion, just like across the board, so everyone pays like whatever. I don't know the amount, but everyone pays that much less in taxes, so it equals to 9 billion. Like why are we paying taxes? And if the fraud was that bad in just one state, imagine if you looked at every state. Every state has fraud, obviously. So if you took every state and got rid of all the fraud, we probably wouldn't even have to pay taxes because there'd be enough money. Think about that. That's just one state, 9 billion. Think about New York. New York is probably three times as much. California is probably three times as much as that. It's got to be. And it's not just Democrat states, but I mean it's tends to be more leaning towards Democrat states because Democrat states are more, big daddy government. We're gonna take care of you, so we make it easier to get stuff like that, like benefits. But why why are we paying taxes? Like this Somali fraud thing. I'm shocked that the average American isn't protesting in the street over this, going, "Why are we paying taxes?" That's the biggest surprise out of everything that's going on is that because the ICE protests are paid protesters, so that I don't even care. And then the people who are getting killed and hurt by ICE officers, that is called natural selection. If you are willing to risk your life for a paycheck, and you're not getting paid that much money to protest ICE, it's not that much money. Because the reason why I say it's not that much, there are people who showed pictures of people getting paid after. like some guy had an envelope and was passing out like a couple $100 to people, but like getting paid a couple $100 to risk getting a federal um offense put against you is not worth it. So like these people are useful. Like it's they're probably all drug addicts, because I don't the only person who would like really like attack a police officer for $200 is a person who needs a like meth or crack or heroin, where like just all logic goes out the window. Dude, I need a fix. Okay, you want me to protest ICE? You want me to try to stop them from arresting child molesters? Fine, I'll do that for $200 because I got to buy an 8 ball. Why do you think so many of these protesters are housewives? Because they're bored, they have nothing to do, and they're like, oh, okay. And they're probably on drugs too, probably. Like either painkillers or Xanax, whatever, Adderall, something like that. Because this isn't normal, especially if you have children. Why? Like I'm watching these protests. There's women bringing their newborn babies to the protest, using their kids as a human shield. That's not normal. There's nothing normal about that. But you're getting paid to do it. But do you need that money that bad that you're gonna bring your newborn baby? Like there's something more sinister going on. So it's either that person is just anti-American, the person wants the community to keep its rapists and murderers. That's possible, or person's a drug addict and needs a fix. But I think the main reason is the person just hates America and hates their community. Because logic goes out the window when you're trying to stop. Like imagine every time someone called 911 and the cop showed up to that person's house, there was protesters outside trying to stop the cops from assisting people. That's what's going on right now with these ICE protests. That's why it's so crazy. I've never seen people fight, even though they're getting paid, fight so hard to keep their city dangerous, or to make their living situation worse. Like, I want rapists in my neighborhood. I want child molesters in my neighborhood. Get out of here, ICE. You gotta be crazy for that. Or, you're getting paid. But, okay, are you willing to sell your soul like that for $200? I mean, because that is evil. Because they were showing the list of crimes of the people they arrested. A lot of them were like child molesters because they're Muslim. I mean, it's just part of the culture, and it's just crazy. Like, and it's a lot of women, and like I thought women naturally protected children, but I guess not. But it's a lot of women mad because ICE is arresting mostly child rapists, and they're doing it because they got paid $200. I mean, that is insane to me. But it's not a distraction, though. I still know about the fraud. I still know about the Epstein list. I just don't care about it. Well, the Epstein list. The fraud, I do care, but there's nothing I can do about it. And then, like, well, there is something I can do about it. I cannot pay taxes. But then if I don't pay taxes, you, you know what happens when you don't pay taxes? It's funny, like, the government will send you to jail for not paying taxes, but they won't send the Somalis to jail for tax fraud. I mean, it is. I don't know why this was allowed to go on for so long, because the governor of Minnesota knew what was going on, and there are some investigative reporters saying that they have been investigating this for like 4 years. So if Joe Schmo, I forgot his name, but if Joe Schmo, like regular citizen, can do research and go, oh wait, there's a lot of fraud here, I'm assuming people in the government know about it. It's just it's so weird. We have too many people who don't like America and don't hold American values who are in power. That's the scary part about America. You have people in power who hate America, who don't like Christian values, who are just anti-American, and they're just either they're putting another country first or another ideology first, or they're just in it to see the world burn. But we have to make it so the people who like vote for this stuff feel the pain of this stuff. And by the time it reaches their neighborhood or it affects them, it's going to be too late for all of us. But, these people need to be educated, or we need to do what they're doing. But I think because we live in America, when the wrong people start losing money, that's when things will change. It's the same thing that happened with Disney. They lost a lot of money over the past couple of years with all of their horrible movies and horrible uh, just general business decisions because they were pushing the wrong message. They're very anti-family. They're very woke is the word, and like they're finally getting rid of people, but maybe it's too late. But see, what happened was the wrong people were losing money. The investors and stockholders were starting to feel it, and so they finally got rid of Kathleen Kennedy. She destroyed Star Wars, but it took a long time for the investors to start being affected and the stockholders. So they had to get rid of her. So it's the same thing with this fraud, or the same thing with the protests. It's like someone, quote unquote, important has to be affected by it, and then it'll change. Like even with like the Epstein list, if there was like someone famous on the list who was a victim, then you know the list, the quote unquote list, it'd be out already. But the people affected are just normal, everyday people with, no one cares about them. No one cares about Sally. Just no one cares. But I said from the start that at least the Epstein list, we're never gonna get the list because no one cares about the list. You see people once again, even though they're being paid, protesting ICE. I don't see anyone protesting the Epstein list. And you think the Epstein list would be the first thing they protest, but think about it, the Epstein list is about child abuse and, horrible stuff. And they're protesting ICE who are trying to stop child abuse and horrible stuff. So it kind of makes sense. Anyway, I need to drink. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Peace.